Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Daniel. I'm happy to see you. I'm good.
I'm so happy to see you too, and I'm so happy that I actually get to talk about this movie because it is so good.
Mm,
It's so, and
I
I'm
love it.
even happier that I get to talk about the women in
All
this
right,
movie.
come on. Let's do it.
The women felt like the heartbeat of the film. There was just such a quiet strength, and most of the moments where I found myself just either on the verge of tears or
Mm,
really like digging into a scene, the women were really at the core of it. So I'd
mm-hmm,
love to know from you, as a character in the film who, you're kind of weaving through a storyline, whether it's with the brothers or with Jeffrey's character,
mm-hmm.
how did you approach those scenes to bring that just strength and that fortitude in those moments?
Well, I think, Danielle, that I'm hoping that I brought most of that stuff with me before I got to the set. I think that's one of the reasons why I was hired. And you talk about the women, I'm glad you brought that up because now that you say it, it makes me think about how many women are in this movie. It turns out that the writer director Cord Jefferson really loved his mother. She was a white liberal, and then she was married to a black Republican. And he's from Arizona, and so am I. So I think about who he chose to come and play these characters that Percival Everett put in his novel, and I think he chose really strong women. So that tells me a little bit about his mother. That also tells me a little bit about Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright says that he was raised by two women, his mother and his aunt. And I think that what you see is a real respect and regard for strength, but also for vulnerability. He knew that we'd have the right set, and not just me, but Tracy and also Issa, the right set of skills to come in and immediately step into those parts, but also bring the type of vulnerability, love, and empathy that we need. But he didn't have to write to that. We would just be it, and that's courage, and frankly, makes him a little genius. So thanks for pointing that out.
Absolutely. Speaking of all those different emotions, I feel like the audience goes through a whole range of emotions during this film, and I saw so many different reactions. But I think the thing that stood out the most was that when the film ended, every single person in the auditorium was starting some sort of conversation about what they had just watched
Wow.
throughout the lobby, all the way out the front door.
Wow.
What kind of conversations do you hope people are having when they walk out of the theater?
Those types. I'm not even kidding you. Sorry. I'm hoping that they're talking about it because they're enthusiastic about what they saw and that it started to trigger things for them or give them ideas about it or make them want to put their opinion out there. That's actually the gift that keeps giving. And so if that happened, then I know Cord is especially happy, but I'm certainly glad to be a part of something that could create that kind of energy.
Last question before I wrap things up here. There's something so magical about seeing a film in theaters, especially a film that sparks conversations between strangers. And this is a film that does just that. How do you hope this also plays a role in impacting culture throughout those conversations?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, culture is about community, right? And I think that this thing is called American fiction, and it invites a conversation inside of an American paradigm. But it doesn't assume that American is any one thing, that it's several things. And I think to see that in a theater where you can feel how everyone else is enjoying it or experiencing it is really valuable, but also healthy. And we need more of those types of things. We're so siloed off in this world, and it's been very divisive. But things that can bring us together and we can talk about it and learn more about each other, it's important because we're all here and we've got to figure it out. And we need to start to interrogate it and not be afraid to do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Absolutely loved the film and your performance. I
Thank
just
you.
frankly can't wait for people to watch this in
Me
theaters.
neither. Thank you, Danielle. Thanks for writing about it too.